Today I wanted to talk about nutrition in the context of a plant-based diet, high-carb diet, or diet that the whole world eats, as well as in the context of low to zero carb diet, primarily the carnivore diet. Now I was checking out potato to see what nutritional value, especially what minerals there were in the potato, and if, well, you could get enough of at least some of the minerals and vitamins that your body requires from potatoes. And it looks like you get a good amount of vitamin C and folate, B6, excuse me. It says it has vitamin A, but we know it doesn't. It's beta carotene, so, that's a lie. And when you look at these various websites listing different, some of these same foods, the values are all over the place, right? So you gotta kind of take everything with a grain of salt, I suppose. But anyway, I wanted to mainly concentrate on magnesium and potassium because the potato seems to be a good source of that. So in 100 grams of baked potato, you're getting about 7% of potassium and 7% of magnesium, daily value. So you'd have to eat, what, like 1.5 kilos, close to 4 pounds of potatoes by raw weight, obviously, to get your daily requirements of those minerals met. But if you do that, you're overloading on dietary fiber, which there's plenty of evidence causes colon cancer in vegans. Because dietary fiber is insoluble fiber. We cannot digest it. It's abrasive to our gut and our colon. It irritates our colon, and cancer logically follows from that. So, and the problem with the fiber is that it's cellulose, which again we cannot digest, which if some of these nutrients are locked behind the cellulose wall in the potato, we can't even access them because we can't break it down. So we do our best to cook, mash, puree, right? Break down the potato as much as possible in order to get to these nutrients. And then we put butter, milk, and other things with it because, like meat sauce, because it doesn't taste good. But anyway, it's questionable how many of these minerals you're going to be able to get out of this potato when a lot of it is probably locked behind cellulose walls, and the potato contains a lot of oxalates, which we know will bind with calcium. And even though this isn't openly spoken about for some reason, there seems to be evidence that oxalates bind minerals just in general, such as magnesium, potassium. So it's questionable, again, because of another factor, how much of those minerals are actually available to you. On top of that, potatoes contain phytochemicals. Now I know food corporations have been calling them nutrients, which is a gross misrepresentation of what they actually are because there is no evidence that they're essential to our diet, and there's zero evidence that they're beneficial. What we do know is that they're chemical compounds produced by plants generally to help them thrive or thwart competitors, predators, or pathogens. Okay, so they're toxins that the plants release to ward off pests. They're nature's pesticides. Uh, if they kill pathogens, then they're probably antibiotic. Okay, if they ward off, animals, again, then they're poisonous. And as you could read further down, it says some phytochemicals have been used as poisons and others as traditional medicine. Okay, so plants, as we've established already, are medicinal, but any medicine in large quantity becomes poisonous. Okay, so these phytonutrients are really phytotoxins. So it's questionable what the absorption rates are of these minerals when it comes to the potato, and especially in the context of a high carb diet, because when you eat high carb, you're consuming a lot of sugar, which prevents and or requires the consumption of more minerals and vitamins. So if you eat a high sugar diet, you're likely to be vitamin D deficient. You're likely to have a calcium deficiency, magnesium deficiency, chromium, vitamin C deficiency. So whatever vitamin C, for example, is in that potato, it's likely to be used in the processing of the sugar that's in the potato, if you can get to it in the first place. This is why when people talk about how the zero carb diet is deficient in vitamins and minerals, you have to laugh. You really have to facepalm, because all these daily recommended values have been established using a population that eats a high carb diet. Oh, here's another link from the Weston A. Price Foundation, which, as you can tell by the foods they promote, are bought out by Big Meat, where they say that to metabolize 1 molecule of sugar, glucose, your body needs to consume 28 molecules of magnesium. So again, if you eat a high carb diet, it's questionable in the first place how much of these paper values of these nutrients you're actually getting, because of everything I just mentioned, but also because you're consuming a lot of sugar, which requires the consumption of many more vitamins and minerals. Now, as far as the zero carb carnivore diet goes, well, we don't have any studies on, definitely not enough studies on people who eat this way to be able to make any statements about whether it's nutritionally deficient or not. Looking at paper values of meat from healthy animals and a variety of animal products, there's more than enough in the meat to sustain a healthy diet. And we have to assume that a lot of these values are going to be a lot lower, because once again, you're not consuming any sugar. And meat and animal products are a lot more bioavailable. They are easier to digest by our bodies. We were designed to digest these foods first and foremost. So it's really ridiculous hearing these high carbers who struggle with vitamin and mineral deficiencies trying to put the carnivore to their nutritionally deficient diet standards when they don't eat that diet. So it's very pseudoscientific and it's idiotic to try to do that. And from all the evidence, it would seem that your requirements, your daily recommended values for at least some of these nutrients should, in theory, be a lot lower on a zero carb, low carb diet. And as far as the potato goes, one last thing. The potato came to Europe about 400 years ago. Most Europeans didn't start eating it till about 200 years ago. So it's a evolutionarily very new food. It's an experimental food. We don't really know what long-term genetic effects it's going to have on those populations that did not eat the potato for any appreciable amount of time in evolutionary terms. And well, we know that they're full of toxins. So it is what it is, guys. Just some thoughts on how the zero carb and a high carb diet might be different. Definitely are different when it comes to the quality of nutrition that you get and the nutritional requirements that you may have depending on how much sugar you consume. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you guys don't know anything about science, take it easy, guys.